Hi everyone, thanks for joining me and Bella from Bella Yoga. Today I'm just going to do a nice all-round stretch and hold practice. So a bit of stretching, a bit of holding on the hips, on the shoulders, the spine. So just a bit of everything just to get us nice and relaxed. Today, as I am recording on a Saturday afternoon, I have decided just to blend a nice mixture of orange and peppermint in my diffuser, my trusted friend that is always here. So 3 drops of each. If you were doing this more in the evening and you wanted to make it more calming, then my go-to that I love so much is frankincense and lavender. So 2 drops of frankincense and 4 of lavender would make a nice calming and grounding scent to have during this practice in the evening. So let's get ready to start. So having a block, if you do have a block, or a couple of cushions instead, if you don't have cushions, or some blankets, we are going to hold the poses not for too long, so between 1 and 2 minutes today, just to really start getting into that stretch and relax, and just let the body stretch, relax as we hold it for a couple of minutes. So just coming into your nice comfortable seat. Does not have to be with your legs crossed, but if you're comfortable, legs crossed. Otherwise, have your legs however you feel comfortable. Staying up nice and tall through the spine, just to give us lots of lovely room, so we're not falling into our waistline. Shoulders are nice and relaxed, just slightly drawn back. Chin again is just slightly coming, just ever so slightly down, so we're not putting that pressure on the neck. It's staying nice and long. And then let's just close our eyes and just take a few moments just to bring ourselves to our practice. So I always think it's worth taking just this bit of time at the beginning of the practice, just to let go of the day, or just let go of any thoughts. Just give them time to go and to start bringing yourself into your practice, into your body, and just slowing down, really just focusing on ourselves. So we'll just take a few moments just to start slowing down the breath, start relaxing the body. We can have our arms wherever they feel relaxed. Our hands could be in your lap, on your knees, in a chosen mudra, chi mudra, always a good mudra for balancing as we sit here just for a few moments. So chi mudra with your index and thumb gently pressing into each other, making a little circle of energy. So just starting to feel your body softening and relaxing. Any particular areas of tension, just trying to let them relax out with your breath. Just trying to let go. We'll just take a little scan through our bodies, so just noticing if your face is nice and relaxed, you're holding on to tension in your forehead or between your eyebrows, just letting go. Is your jaw nice and relaxed? We're not tensing the jaw. Having that little space between the teeth just helps the jaw relax. And then down through the neck, that feeling okay, relaxed. Shoulders, just letting them relax down, slightly drawn back, just so you're not collapsing in, staying nice and tall. The spine is nice and long, keeping the trunk of the body still relaxed, so no tension through the chest, through the ribs. The belly is relaxed, pelvis, the glutes, just starting to feel your sit bones, just noticing that connection of your sit bones on your mat or on the floor. No tension through the legs, the feet, nice relaxed toes. Not forgetting the arms, they're nice and relaxed, feeling them heavy wherever your hands are as they gently relax. And then we'll start connecting to our breath, so noticing our breath. And if we haven't already, just starting to take longer inhales, longer exhales, nice and relaxed. So as you get ready to take your next inhale, just see if you can start drawing the breath from the belly up towards the chest. And then as you exhale, relaxing the breath down from the chest to the belly. So just go for a couple of rounds, some conscious breathing, really making that effort to bring that breath a little bit longer and letting the breath out again just that little bit longer. So really bringing stillness and calmness to the body and mind. But still trying to stay relaxed. So try not to tense up the belly, leaving it nice and relaxed as you draw that breath in. Just trying to keep it natural, organically breathing. And if you can't quite get the breath coming from the belly, no matter. As long as you're just consciously breathing and the breath is slowing and relaxing, it'll just start happening without you even noticing. And let's just take 2 more rounds of breaths. And next breath in is our first round. And a nice long exhale, letting that breath out just for a little bit longer. And then start in again, nice long inhale. And a nice long exhale, letting go of all that stale breath. And then just come back to your normal breath. We'll bring our hands together in front of our heart. Take a little bow to our heart, to our hands. If you want to set an intention, set a positive word for your practice, for your day, just take a few moments. Just think of something that makes you happy. Love, sun, happiness. And give our palms a nice brisk rub, starting to get some energy into our practice before we begin. And then place those palms over our eyes as we open our eyes back into the light and taking our hands away. And we begin with our greeting of love and peace. Namaste, as I bow my ego to you. Thank you for being here. And if you do want to subscribe to my channel, then every time I post up a new class, you get a notification straight away, or recommend any of my practices to other people, please do go ahead. Thank you. So we're just going to start with a little bit of warming up, a little bit of movement, warming up the joints before we move on to the practice. So we're just going to uncross and recross our legs. If they've been crossed, just getting them, just getting a bit of movement through them. And we'll start off with our neck. So taking our chin over to the right shoulder, nice big exaggerated circle. So really circling with the chin all the way up and then all the way down the other side to the chest. Keep the shoulders relaxed down as we do 2 more circles. Just like you had a pencil in your chin and you were drawing a big circle round, taking your time. As we take our last circle, then when that chin starts coming down towards your chest, let's start taking it in the opposite direction to the left shoulder, circling up, and then all the way down. Just releasing any tension in the neck, the top of the shoulders, for our last circle round. Just taking your time. Good. Chin comes back towards the chest. Take a little stretch through the back of the neck. And then our next breath, let's take the chin up towards the ceiling and take a big stretch through the front of the neck, the top of the chest. You want to give your face a little stretch. You could always pull your tongue out, stretching the tongue out as far as it can go. Almost trying to reach the chin just to give the face a nice big stretch as well. Get those muscles awake. And still remembering to breathe. And then release. Coming back to center. And let's take a nice big stretch through the shoulders. So interlacing those fingers as we inhale. Start turning those palms down and up towards the ceiling. And then in a big stretch to one side. Keep that chest lifted. Back to center and to the other side. Coming back to center, we're going to come all the way forward, releasing the hold of the fingers. And then take the arms behind the back, interlace the fingers as you inhale, start coming up, draw those shoulder blades together, stretching the arms back away from us. And then release, bringing the arms forward. Let's do that one more time. So inhaling, palms go all the way up. Stretch over to one side, back to center, to the other side, back to center, reaching all the way forward, lengthening the spine. Take the arms behind the back, interlace those fingers, draw the arms back as we draw the shoulders back and come all the way up, and a little lift through the heart, and then release. Let's release those legs, get some movement through the legs, just some bending and stretching of the leg. So we're getting movement in the hip and in the knee, hands either side supporting us, staying up nice and tall. In your own time, switching sides. Still staying tall, draw that navel in just to help you stay up and start to engage that core. Good, coming back to center, back to the floor. And we're going to come up onto our knees. We're going to give our toes a little stretch. Just tuck those toes under. If it does feel too uncomfortable here, you can just keep the toes down. And if this seated position is too uncomfortable, continue sitting on the floor, or maybe just go and sit on a chair for these couple of poses that we'll do here. So again, just up to you. Trying to stay up nice and tall, or you could always sit in butterfly as well, because that also helps you stay up nice and lifted. So just a couple of options. Just here, just stimulates the feet and just gives your feet a nice little stretch as well. So whilst we're here, we're just going to do some big shoulder rolls. Again, really exaggerating that movement, really feeling those shoulder blades working up and down your back. So no rush in the practice today, really connecting to your body, just noticing as we go through in the opposite direction. So it's all about noticing how your body is feeling. And just trying to let go of tension with the breath as we come back to center. Let's release those toes back down onto the mat. And we're going to see if we can lift our knees and give ourselves a stretch through those ankles. So again, it might be a little bit challenging, but just try taking the hands back behind us. So you're already leaning back, and then it's just a little lift of the knees if you can, or just try it a few times as your ankles get used to it. And just take a few breaths. Again, at any point, if it gets too uncomfortable, just release and relax. Even just doing it once for a little 1 second or 2 seconds is surely more than not doing it at all. So it just gets it going. The benefits already start. working. So bringing the knees back down, and we are going to stay here just for 2 minutes as we're going to do, we're going to come and do eagle arms. So let me just get my phone close by, just so I can start timing us. So as I said again, if you want to sit down, if it gets too much for you. So taking our arms out to the side, so we're nice and tall, we're going to do eagle arms. So our right arm is going to come up and the left one will come under. If you can get those elbows crossed, then either take one bind or two. Make sure those wrists are staying straight, they're not being bent and putting pressure. If you can't quite get the elbows across there, if you're about here, then just have them comfortable and just hold onto your shoulders instead. So coming into eagle arms, settle in with the bind or with the little hug. We're going to just hold the pose. I'm just going to bring up my timer and we're going to hold the pose for 2 minutes. So just settle into that little stretch through the back of your body. Take nice big breaths. And when you exhale, just feel your body making a little bit more space as the tension goes. And as always with these kind of practices, if you're noticing that your body is, as we hold the pose, your body's getting a little bit more relaxed, you have a little bit more space, then maybe just take the pose a little bit more. So if your hands are maybe back of your hands are touching, you might feel after we've been here for a minute, you can actually take, and you've got a bit more space, you may be able to take the bind so the front of the hands are facing. Or you may find that you have more space, so you might be able to lift your elbows up a little bit more so that they are in line with your shoulders. And then just relax. And you might find, and then the opposite is true as well, that if you've gone into it thinking I'm quite open and I feel I can go straight into the more advanced pose, that then because you're holding it for that little bit longer, you may start feeling it a little bit more and uncomfortable. So then always take it, dial it back down if you want to. As always, your practice, so just do what feels right for you. Sorry, just having someone trying to call me. Put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And not much longer to go now, so really just noticing as we now gently letting go, so unraveling those arms, give them a little shake as I turn off this. And we'll get ready just to come up onto our hands and knees. Let's do a little flow. So bringing those wrists underneath shoulders, knees are hip distance apart. Take a nice big breath in as we draw the shoulder blades back, tailbone goes up. Into cat-cow as we exhale, chin to the chest, tucking the tailbone under, nice big stretch. Coming back to a neutral spine. Let's tuck those toes under, coming into down dog, rooting down through those fingers, through those hands, keeping the knees soft as we lengthen through that spine, really tilting that tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then coming back down onto our hands and knees, into puppy pose, so bringing forearms down to the mat, so elbows are underneath our shoulders. A nice little counter pose to eagle arms, opening up the front of the chest, drawing the shoulder blades back. Keep the navel slightly engaged, just so the chest is nice and open and the back is not arching too much. Keep rooting down through the back of your feet, down through your arms. And then releasing back into child's pose, relaxing the arms either in front or to the sides. And then our next breath, let's start coming up, rolling up through our spine, up to our knees as we bring our arms all the way up and down to the heart as we sit back down and we get ready to do eagle arms with the left arm on top this time. So let's take those arms out to the sides. Left arm over, right one under. If we're crossing elbows, going for one bind or two, or even you might decide that you can cross elbows, but you still want to go for a hug instead. So just settle in to your version of the pose that works for you, and just take a few moments to relax, starting to feel the benefits of holding the pose for that bit longer. Just getting all that blood and oxygen circulating, making some small space, and just relax. And just take a quick check in with yourself that you're not holding on to tension as you sit here, because my first place is always to get tension in the face as you're concentrating on getting yourself into the pose. You're just relaxing your face, your shoulders, and then all the way through the trunk of the body, still staying long through the spine. If you need to adjust your seated position, then do, and then come back. In our last minutes, if you do feel you want to take the elbows a little bit higher, if you haven't yet, to give yourself a deeper stretch, and it just straightens the top of the spine a bit more. And relax. Letting thoughts go, just try and keep your mind connected to your body and on the different sensations you're feeling, and just relax. Just give your body confidence that what you are asking it to do, where you are taking it, is a safe place. As long as you're not feeling any numbness or sharp pains, then that good stretch, that little uncomfortableness is really a good thing. And then let's let go of the arms. Give them a little shake out, and we'll do our little flow again. So let's, this time, as we inhale, circle the arms all the way up, bringing them down onto the mat as wrists are underneath shoulders, knees are hip distance apart. Cat-cow as we inhale, opening up the chest, gazing up towards the ceiling, tailbone up. Exhaling, rounding up that spine, tucking the tailbone under, chin to the chest. Back to a neutral spine as we tuck the toes under into down dog, rooting down through those fingers, through the hands. Tailbone tilts up. And maybe you can start straightening those heels towards the mat, but don't get too overly concerned about stretching out those hamstrings, as we're going to keep the movements mostly on the mat and just nice stretches. So coming back down onto our knees, into puppy pose, elbows come down underneath shoulders, forearms on the mat, tailbone, hips are nicely stacked over knees, navel slightly drawn in. And then back into child's pose. Take a moment there, relaxing the arms wherever you want them to be. And our next breath, let's start rolling up through our spine, up onto our knees as arms circle all the way up. And then hands through to the heart as we sit back down. And then we're going to get ready to come back up onto our knees and just take a slight stretch through our legs. So we're going to take our right leg out to the side. If you can, place your right foot right down all the way to the outer edge. If you feel your foot is dropping in and you can't get it all down and you're putting strain on your ankle, then just flip your foot up and then the ankle is more comfortable that way. So again, it just depends on your ankle and the length through the side of your leg. So picking your options. Again, if it's too much on that knee, tuck the back toe under. That takes pressure off the knee, or just put a cushion or a blanket folded up to give you a bit of support. Again, check the ankle and hip are lined up we're going to hold it here just for a minute, and then we'll move into a slightly different position. So we're going to take a stretch, right hand relaxing on that right leg, left hand comes up and then just gently pulls you over, nice long stretch through the side of the body, and just hold it there. Top arm just feels relaxed, no tension, it's just pulling you over. If it does start getting tired, you can place it in front of you or place the back of the hand on your back. So just a couple of options as we start building up the strength through the arm. Again, neck, head is looking wherever you feel comfortable. You could be looking up, forward, or down. So just take your options and relax. Stay up nice and long. Again, so we're not falling in. We want to all keep nice and lifted. Lots of space for the breath, for the heart, for the lungs. And then release, coming back to center. And we're going to just take ourselves back into a one-legged child's pose. So just take the sit bones back. You may need just adjust this leg slightly, still trying to keep the wrist, the ankle and hip lined up. You could be up here or you could be there or on the outside of that right foot now, as then you can relax your ankle down. So just take your option and we'll just hold it for a minute here. Get a nice stretch through the inside of the leg and relax. You may be able to go all the way down or you may need to be up here depending on how far back your sit bones come. So just make yourselves relax. So just let yourselves relax and release. Nice big breaths. As you release the tension, release all those things that are no longer serving us or certainly not serving us in this practice. Now that tension and just relax. And just really take this time to enjoy the stillness and connecting back to our inner bodies, really listening, as we just tend to sometimes just go through life without really listening to what our bodies are telling us. So just take those few moments of stillness and quietness. And then let's get ready to start coming back up. So using our hands, come back up onto that knee, bring the right leg through onto the right knee and get that left leg out again, coming back up, lining up that ankle and hip. And again, just taking the decision to see where you need to have your foot so your ankle feels relaxed as we hold here for a minute. Left hand over. And right hand over the head. So left hand is relaxed on the left leg. Right hand is above, just kind of pulling you over. So you letting gravity pull you over. So you're not really doing much else except just staying here, just being with your body. Again, if it's too much for your arm there, placing it there or behind your back. Settle into the neck options. And relax, no tension in the glutes. Leg is nice and relaxed. Just keep rooting down through your foot if you've got your foot flat on the floor. A nice big opening through the side of the body, the underarm. And then gently letting go, bringing that hand back down. Settling onto that knee again. If you need to tuck the toe under or put more support as we go into that one-legged child's pose. Taking ourselves back, adjusting that left leg if you need to. Make yourself nice and comfortable. And then see where you are with your arms. And let's just hold it for a minute. In winter, we tend to do these poses hold them for a lot longer because the body's already naturally in a much slower state, whereas in summer, still wanting to keep the high energy, especially today on a Saturday. But even if you were doing it in the evening, just the body is a bit more high energy, so we tend to hold the poses not for so long, unless you're going into the full restorative practice, which is completely different. Just relax, just feel the breath drawing out that tenseness, and your body just relaxing. And then gently releasing again, coming back up onto our hands, bringing that leg in. And we're going to come into a little down dog just to take the weight off our knees again. So tucking the toes under, shifting yourselves wherever you need to. And this time coming with the legs straighter, start getting that stretch through the hamstrings and even walking the legs out. It's getting some movement, releasing any tension in those knees. And then let's come back to center and bring ourselves back down as we come down onto our knees, and we're going to come and sit down on the mat, coming into a thunderbolt pose. So again, with thunderbolt can be quite strong on your knees, so just see how it goes. We're going to go into a half thunderbolt, so just one leg at a time. I'll just shift myself forward. So you're going to just get, so right leg is straight and taking your left leg, just moving the calf and seeing if you can bring that heel in close to you. You may not be able to. Everyone's version of this is different. Depending on knees and hips, you may need to take your leg slightly out to the side. You may find your foot is more out to the side. If you are falling over to that straight leg, then do make sure you put some support underneath that straight leg, just to get the hips square, because as soon as the hips are square, then you're putting much less pressure on the joints. You shouldn't be putting any pressure at all as soon as your hips stay square. If this pose is completely not doable for you, then just come into a slightly different version with the inside of your foot up against your leg and just sit in this position and then go from there. So we're going to hold it for 2 minutes. So you do want to have yourself as comfortable as possible in this version. Again, if knees feel a little bit tight, just give it some time. As long as there's no numbness coming through as you hold or any sharp pains, you should be fine. Just give it some time. But also placing maybe a cushion between the back of the leg takes pressure off the knee. Then the knee doesn't press so hard at the front. So just take your time. I'm going to shift cushion underneath that side just to make me 100% square, and we will hold it for 2 minutes. So taking the hands behind us, maybe even leaning a little bit further back just to get that stretch a little bit more, as long as your knees not coming up. And maybe you might be able to, as you're holding the pose for longer and you start relaxing and stretching and just gaining that confidence that the stretch you're feeling is fine and it's all good. You can move through all the different versions. You might even be able to take yourself all the way down, or maybe just put another cushion underneath your shoulders, and going all the way down just gives you more of a back bend as well. So just try whichever version works for you. I will stay up here. So it makes me feel like I'm actually there with you whilst you're doing the pose, and I can actually see you, which I wish I could. And if you are joining my classes, I will probably see you at one of them anyway. So again, just take a moment to relax. So you still want to feel like you are doing something, that it is still being the pose is still being quite dynamic. You're not going into that completely restorative pose. And make sure the straight leg, the ankle doesn't start dropping out. Just try and keep it quite stable, so that all of your body is supporting you. And just checking in that you're not holding on to any tension. Just for a few more seconds. I thought I might want to put my timer on there for a moment. And then let's release. So just be mindful as you get ready to release. If you've had a block underneath your hip, or sorry, cushion, just move it out the way and then use your hand just to straighten the leg. Just take your time, straightening it in front of you, maybe just rubbing it out. And we're going to come into a little forward bend just to give the back of the leg some release and the front of the knee. So again, if you need to soften your knees, you can have the feet flexed or relaxed and just let yourself hang forward. Just take a few breaths here and release. Nice and relaxed, releasing any tension. Next breath brings us back up to seated, and we're going to switch sides. So I'm just going to switch myself around. So this time the left leg is straight and bringing the right heel back towards us. Take that calf out of the way and just find the version that works for you. Keeping knee and ankle supported so there's not undue stress. I know some people may find it difficult with the ankle, so you may even just having the foot flexed and have a bit more space if you find it uncomfortable with the foot down. So just take your time. Again, see if you are sloping off and you need that support. I seem to be okay on this side and my hips seem to be squarer. And we'll start our 2 minutes just by relaxing into the pose before we go any further. Take those first few seconds to really just relax. There's no rush. And then you can start taking yourselves back and all the way back if you feel comfortable, even lying all the way down. Always making sure if you are lying all the way down that you come up onto your forearms first and you're not lifting your leg up, and then start coming up. And just relax, a nice stretch through the front of the leg. Lengthening through those psoas muscles, which is so good for releasing the tension in the back as well. And really helps us get into back bends, giving us all that support through the front of the body. And just checking in on yourself. Making sure that you're still feeling okay, nice and relaxed, still feeling the stretch, that wonderful energizing stretch almost. Goodness, that peppermint and orange is the first time I've used it and it smells amazing. If you get the chance, do use it, especially on a wonderful summer's day like it is today. And then getting ready to release the pose. So making your way back up to your arms, to your hands. As we get ready to release that leg, just taking your time as we shift the weight to the other side. Straighten out that leg. Give that knee a nice little rub down. And then come into that forward bend. Soften knees if you need to. Feet can be flexed or slightly pointed. And just relax for a few breaths. And then let's start coming back up to seated. Into butterfly. So just bring the soles of our feet together. And just give our knees a nice, give our hips a nice release. Just making some space, lubricating those hips before we move on to some wide-legged forward fold. So just get some nice movement through those hips. Keep that pelvis nice and relaxed. So really just feel it relaxing out as the knees bob up and down. Chest stays up nice and tall. And then gently start slowing the movement down. And when you feel ready, just come into complete stop. And we will come into that wide-legged pose. So this will look different for everyone as we are all differently shaped with our bones. We have our bones we have to contend with. So just working with them. So you may be all the way out. You may be just like me, not that far out. Or you may be slightly further in. Again, just shift the pelvis so you're tilting it slightly back. So you're on the tips of your sit bones. Front of the pelvis is slightly forward. So that already gives you that tilting. Again, sitting with the tips of your sit bones on a cushion or on a block just again helps your pelvis tilt forward and gives you that more length. And especially if you're more of a back bending person, you'll feel that you're falling back. That kind of just adjusts and gives you that bit of assistance. Again, feet flexed or pointed, depending on how dynamic you want the stretch to be through your legs. And we're going to hold for 2 minutes to really release the pressure. Let the sit bones, feel them firmly down on the mat. Feel the backs of your legs relaxing down onto the mat. So no tension, the legs are softening down. We're either just staying here with the hands in front of us, supporting us, or you could be with a cushion. You may be able to come a bit further forward, but just take your time. So maybe just hold here for a few seconds. Take some nice relaxing breaths. When you exhale, just feel the body relaxing down. Nice big stretch. And if you feel enough, when you feel space, if you feel a bit more space in your body, more room, just walk yourselves into it. And just continue to relax. Just make sure those ankles are not dropping out. You're staying nice and stable. Just nice and supported and nicely relaxed. Again, let the shoulders, just try and relax them back down your back rather than letting them fall forward and just taking up space in your neck. Just rather let them just fall back. And connect back to your breath. Bring that mind back to your body. If you feel there's even more space, just walk into that space again. Or if you feel maybe you went that little bit too far, then just give yourselves permission to draw back. As we get ready to release, let's start coming back up, walking those legs in towards each other. Just giving them a little shake. And then we're just going to windscreen wipe with the legs just to get some movement back in. So just take your time, bending the knees. Feet are on the floor, hands are behind you, supporting you as we just windscreen wipe with those knees. And And then let's come back to center. We're going to come into a little hip opening. So coming into square pose if you can. If square pose does feel too much, just come back here into butterfly, into Baddha Konasana. But square pose, we're going to bring the right leg underneath if we can, trying to keep it as ankle and knee in a line so we have some space, and then try and get the other one above. You may need to shift yourself around until you get yourself in that comfortable place, and trying to get the opposite ankle, the left ankle, as much above the right knee as you can, and then trying to relax that. So it may take a bit of time. You can place a cushion, some support underneath here, underneath the hip, underneath that leg, just to help you if you want to. And like I said, if this is completely, especially if your knees are quite closed up, you may just sit in butterfly. That may feel better for you. So just take your time to settle in. We're going to hold 2 minutes and just do a couple of different movements through the top of the body. So we'll just start off just by relaxing. And try to keep the ankle nice and supported so we're not putting pressure by it falling underneath. Let's take a few moments to settle in. And then let's see if we can take a little twist. So take that right hand to the left knee. Left hand just comes to the side of the body, just to help you twist. We're not going for a full twist. We want to keep the hips nice and square and just take a twist through the waist. And we'll just hold it here. Again, just feel the hips relaxing the longer you hold. Or you could just sit in a cross-legged position if that feels better for you too, and just go for the twist. And then we'll release the twist, come back to center, either staying here again or just come into a bit more of a forward bend. So hands can be on either side or all the way in front, and just come into more of a forward bend. Again, keep that spine long so you're kind of pushing back into your sit bones. You're not falling forward into your legs. And the shoulders relax down your back. So we're going for an extra stretch, which may feel uncomfortable for you, then do just bring yourselves back up. Good. Getting ready to release the pose as we start walking our hands back up. We're going to release the legs, so taking your time. We're going to windscreen wiper the legs again, feet on the floor, and just taking the legs from side to side. Sorry. And then we're going to get ready to come back to center and do the other side. So this time bring that left leg under, take the right leg on top, square those hips off. Take your time. I find this side is easier than the side I was just doing. So I can fall into this pose a lot easier on this side, but you're just taking your time. Again, checking ankle is fine. Or just sitting in cross leg if that feels better for you. Or another option, which, sorry, I should have told you before, you can keep the bottom leg straight and just have the top leg. So if you do struggle in this one, and that one completely slipped my mind, so I apologize, you can just have that leg straight instead. Then you're still getting a stretch through the hip. Just take a few moments to settle in before we go into that twist. And if you feel comfortable enough, start taking that left hand to the right knee, the right hand just slightly behind you, and take that little twist from the waist. base of the spine, twisting, keeping the hips so they're staying square, they're not going off with you into the twist. Relax the shoulders, relax the face, relax the hips. Nice comfortable breaths. If you're struggling to breathe, that's always an indication that you need to let up a bit, be kind, and bring yourselves back slightly until you can take nice long breaths. Going to come into that forward bend, so start twisting forward, and then either hands are here to the side and into a little micro forward fold, or bring them in front of you and go further forward. And relax the shoulders down your back. Relax your face. Feel your hips softening and relaxing. And then let's get ready to release the pose again. So coming back up to seated. Let's take our time, bringing the top leg down, feet on the mat, and again just dropping the knees from side to side. And then come back to center. And we're going to take we're going to just do a couple of rounds of upside down table. So I'm just switching myself sideways, so fingers pointing either towards you, to the side, or all the way back. And feet are hip distance apart. The ankles are just ahead of your knees, so when you lift up your pelvis, then your knees are directly over your ankles. So take a nice big breath in, lifting the pelvis up, straightening that spine, straightening the top of the legs, root down through the feet, so knees aren't dropping out. When we bring the pelvis down, just hovering it on the mat, so we're not taking it all the way down. And then one more time, nice big lift, root down through those feet, through the front of the body, and then relax. Bring the hips back down, straighten out the legs, and we're going to get ready to come into Sphinx. So coming to lie on the front of your body. So shifting yourself over, bring those elbows underneath shoulders again, like with puppy pose, and then the wrists are just ahead. And we settle here into Sphinx. Shoulders, just draw them down your back. Legs, the more space you have between your legs, the more comfortable it'll feel on your back. The more together, the more intense. So with Sphinx, we want to keep the legs just slightly further wider than your hips, maybe almost as wide as your mat. And then just settle in. You can either have your head hanging forward or take your head back, whatever feels comfortable, or just holding it in neutral, or a version of both, one at a time, whatever feels good for you, depending on your day. If I've been sitting at a desk all day, I generally like to have my head back for a while. But as today I have been not at the desk, I'm just going to get a nice stretch through the back of my neck. Again, if this starts feeling too much for your back, either place a cushion underneath your belly. That takes the strain off your lower back. Or you can bring your elbows slightly further forward, so you're bringing the mid part of your chest down and only the top part of your chest is lifted, and the hands are resting on opposite shoulders. And again, that's just a nice fallen angel, relaxed back bend. So it's just the top of your back. It's not working all the way down to your lumbar. Use the hands, the arms, just to keep you lifted and supported. So the more you kind of putting some pressure into your arms, the less pressure you'll feel on your back. And also just draw the navel slightly in, which also keeps the core engaged and supporting your back. And relax. And don't let those shoulders come into your neck. Let them relax down your back. Getting a lot of tension in the face. And then let's relax. Let's make a pillow with the hands and just relax the back. Give it a little wriggle from side to side. And then come back to center. And we're going to go into what I call reverse the needle, but I think it's called broken wing, but I don't really like the sound of something broken. So taking our right hand out to the side, wrist is lined up with shoulder, so it's almost like a needle where we put it across the body. This time it's going away. So if you just take a moment just to watch me. So wrist is lined up with shoulder. We're going to bring the weight forward. Then with the opposite hand, just use it to start rolling over. You can either just stay here, or you can take that top leg behind you and just support you there. You're only going to hold it for a minute. If you can bring your head down, or you can put a cushion underneath your head and just be mindful of the shoulder and not putting too much pressure. So just go ahead and get into the pose. We will only hold it for a minute. And just relax. Gets too much with that top leg behind, just roll yourself slightly in again. Opposite hand is supporting you. You could maybe even have the hand under your head. Give you some support. Take a nice stretch through the front of that shoulder. Nice long breaths, keeping the rest of the body relaxed. And then get ready to release the pose. So just turning back onto the front of your body. Use the opposite hand to support you. Good, bringing that arm in. Just give it a little shake out, maybe just stretching it in front. And then get ready to switch sides. So taking that left arm out to the side, wrist and shoulder are lined up before you bring yourselves down. And then just start turning into the pose, either just staying in a half turn or use the top leg to take you all the way. And the opposite hand is here supporting you, or you could be under your head. And just relax. If you've got someone around close by, you can just always ask them to check that your wrist and shoulder are a nice straight line, just to make sure you're not putting any undue pressure on your shoulder. And as always, just working with your range of movements. If you have any injuries, just respect them and work with what they will allow you to do, because baby steps gets things to happen than rushing into things and ending up with injuries. So just be respectful of your injuries. And relax. We get ready to release the pose. Use the opposite hand to support you as you're rolling forward again. Bring that arm in. Maybe give it a little shake out, stretching it forward. And then let's go into child's pose with extended arms, wide-legged child's pose. So knees are apart, toes are touching. Just reaching our arms forward, nice length through those underarms. And relax in child's pose, chin on the mat or head on the mat, depending on how you feel with your neck. And relax. Connect to the breath through the back of your body. Just feel that big stretch through your spine, through those underarms. And then come into complete child's pose. Relax the arms completely. And just take a few moments here in child's pose. And then let's get ready to start rolling back up to seated. So rolling up through your spine, nice and relaxed. And let's come and lie down on the mat. We're going to go for one final side stretch. So we're coming into Bananasana, so banana pose, which is such a great name. I love that name. But we look like we're getting into a banana shape. So we're moving our feet and the top of our body to one side. So we're going to come and lie down on the mat or on the floor, wherever you are. And we're going to start shifting our legs, our feet over to our left side. Take the arms above the head and then start shifting just the top of your body, the shoulders, the arms, also to the same side. So they're coming to meet each other. So we're walking both feet and arms to the left side. Trying to walk them towards each other. So you're really stretching out the right side of the waist. Try and keep the shoulders back on the floor. You possibly won't be able to get the right shoulder all the way back. But try not to lift it over. We're trying to keep it back and open. The chest stays open. And just hold it there for a few breaths. And just relax into that lovely side stretch. If you feel your body's making a bit more room, you might be able to start walking the shoulders and the feet towards each other. Get more of a stretch through the side of the spine. Just be mindful of the lower back. And then let's get ready to release. So walking the legs back to center, walking the top of the body back to center. Just take a few moments to release your spine and then bring the knees up towards the chest. And I want us to circle the knees going away from the stretch. So to the left side, all the way around, and then to the right. So giving the side of the body a nice little massage, one last circle, and then bring the knees back and straighten out the legs as we get ready to stretch to the right. So we're going to start moving the legs over to your right side and then moving the arms, the top of the chest, getting a nice stretch through the left. The left arm, trying to get that left shoulder back down, keeping the hips down. So we're nice and square through the hips and nice and square through the shoulders and the stretches through the side of the body. If you find more space in your body, just walk into it. Just take it. Make some more. Always room to grow and relax. The body totally softening and relaxing. As we get ready to come out of the pose, let's start shifting the legs back, shifting the top of the body back. Take a moment just to release your spine. Bring the knees up towards your chest, and this time circling the knees to the right and then the left. Last circle. And then bring the knees back to center. We're going to get ready to end our practice. So take our arms, knees to the chest, arms come around the legs, Take a nice big breath in. And as you exhale, squeeze those legs into your abdomen as you release your spine on the mat. And then release the legs. Let's get ready to end our practice in Shavasana. So if you want to make yourselves more comfortable, blanket, cushion, whatever you want to have around you, take a moment to do that. Maybe put on some music if you want to have Shavasana for a good 5 minutes at least. And I will just leave you in Shavasana. So get yourselves nice and ready. Tucking the chin slightly towards your chest, making your neck nice and comfortable. Closing your eyes. Having space between the legs, let the feet just drop out to the sides as the legs gently relax. Taking the arms out to the sides, palms facing out. And just gently releasing and relaxing. Any last bits of tension are just floating away as you totally relax. Just feeling the heaviness of your body as you soften and relax. Legs are gently relaxed as those feet just flop out. Pelvis is relaxed. Just feel the belly drawing down as the pelvis relaxes down. Spine is relaxed. With each exhale, just feel your ribs relaxing. Chest relaxes down. Shoulders are relaxed. Letting those arms relax. Fingers relax. Feel them gently drawing you down as they totally relax. Face is relaxed. That gentle space between your teeth as your jaw relaxes. Forehead relaxes. Eyebrows relax. Feeling the heaviness of your eyes in their sockets as they totally relax. Completely letting go as your mind relaxes. Just letting the thoughts go. Every time one comes in, just letting it go, not paying it any attention. Coming back to your body, just feeling relaxed. And gently floating away, not a care for the next few precious moments, totally relaxed. As I leave you here, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you all soon. Namaste, love and peace.